We just see him. Wait a minute.
We'll call the regular meeting of council of the city of Clarksburg to be held Thursday, March 2nd, 2023 at the Clarksburg Municipal Building, Council Chambers, 222 West Main Street, Clarksburg, West Virginia at 6 p.m.
Will Hyman.
Here.
Gary Keith.
Here.
Jim Malfajo.
Here.
Jerry Riffle. Wayne Worth.
Here.
Vice Mayor Junkins.
Here.
Mayor Marina.
Here.
This evening we have our prayer and our pledge by Councilmember Malfajo.
Heavenly Father, we come to you this evening asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us to engage in meaningful discussion. Allow us to grow closer as a group and nurture the bonds of the community. Fill us with your grace as we make decisions and continue to remind us that all that we do here this evening and all that we accomplish is for the pursuit of truth, for the greater glory of your name, and for the service of humanity. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of minutes.
Mr. Mayor, for the sake of brevity, I would like to motion that we approve the following minutes in succession here. Conference work session, January 12th, 2023. The special session on January 12th, 2023. Regular session, January 19th, 2023. The special session of January 24th, 2023. The special session of January 25th, 2023. The regular session of February 2nd, 2023. Conference work session on February 7th, 2023. Special session February 9th, 2023. The special session on February 10th, 2023. Regular session of February 16th, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved and second. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Aye. Good job.
Petitions, communications, and public hearings. Carl Wagenbrenner wishes to address council concerning a new business in downtown.
Hello, my name is Carl Wagenbrenner, this is my wife Denise. Can everybody see and hear me well enough?
Yep.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, we are proposing to put a brew pub and micro distillery in the old FBI building, the Kiwi building there, right there on Main Street in downtown Clarksburg. We have a few things that are kind of hanging over our heads right now as to some irons that we need to cool off here so that we can go ahead and get our lease signed and commence on the project. A couple other things that we've been back and forth with the city of would be the zoning use for the distillery, the B&O tax credit incentive, the separate water line, and the 4 parking spaces are the main questions that we have for you this evening, and hopefully we can get some things ironed out. We are proposing to put in a 10 to 15 barrel brew house that will be supplying the brew pub as well as a small amount of wholesale for local distribution. And we're also proposing to do a distillery that would allow us to get into the ready-to-drink cocktail market. Recently, it was revealed that the spirits market last year outpaced the sales of beer in the United States. And we're trying to ride along with the national trend and being able to provide not only beer, but a product that we then also can produce and can and put out on the market. With that, proposing to do a couple of new things with the building. There's 26,000 square feet in that building that we would also like to be able to hopefully work with local businesses, local colleges, and hopefully try to build upon the local labor force in the area. That'll not only benefit us, but for the local economy as well, and for the other local businesses that are really struggling to find decent labor and good help. I myself just got out of a course where I was teaching fermentation with Allegheny College, and would like to also do the same thing with Pierpont and Bridge Valley if possible in this location, and hopefully start building upon the labor force of the brewing industry in West Virginia. To do that though, we have a few things that we have to get taken care of, and we've already been back and forth with the town, a couple members of the town council, and the fire marshal, local fire marshal, who hasn't yet gotten back to me, but I'm sure he will, on the approval for the distillery. At least give us the verbiage to let us know that it's actually going to be allowed there in town. One of the things about the distillery, to ease anyone's mind, is it would be run off the existing steam system that we would be running the brewery off of. So there would be no open flames anywhere. It would be a small distillery, and basically we would be providing a small amount of liquor for ourselves, but also with that license will allow us to purchase liquor on the market to then use as blending for cocktails that we then put in cans. Up to about 7% alcohol will be about the limit. It would be produced and stored there. The building has a full water sprinkler system and full fire alarm system in it. And we are working in conjunction or alongside the code of the Tax and Trade Bureau, the Alcohol Board, the ATF basically is now the Tax and Trade Bureau of the federal government. So we'll be working along their guidelines and also working with the state of West Virginia to stay within the code. So I guess the big questions would be the zoning use of distillery number 1. We need some clarification on that as soon as possible. We also need the B&O tax credit incentive. We need to understand exactly what we're able to do with that, or what you guys are offering for us. We don't think that 3 years is really going to be enough for what we need. With the ability to help me out here, Denise.
To generate a large amount of retail there, it's going to take some time to build that. And the incentives that are already available, what was it, like the first 3 years, 100% for year 1, 75% for year 2, and 50% for, I think, year 3. That's what we're asking for. Right now, I think what was said was readily available was 75% for year 1, or 100% for year 1, 75% for year 2, and 50% for year 3, but only 3 years.
It's going to take a little bit more than 3 years for us to even get the license and to be able to put something in a can, something that's ready to be sold. You have to excuse me for stammering a little bit. We are stuck in the middle of a chamber meeting downstairs. We're trying to get done as soon as we can. This was kind of thrown at us today.
Yeah, but the point is, if we could get the B&O incentive for a longer amount of time, what we do know is that the business there is going to generate more revenue that would ultimately give the city revenue from the sales versus if it was just converted back to office spaces or storage, warehouse, whatever. So we are looking to build it up to be a rather sizable tourism attraction, revenue potential for the restaurant and the retail of the products. So that's the point we wanted to make there with the B&O credit.
Next.
The water line is simply because in the production of the beer or any product, water is the main ingredient along with the process of getting it in a can. So having another water line coming in off of Main Street directly in for just the production, mainly brewery, would also give us an uninterrupted water line there, not subject to being billed for sewer, because it's not all going to go down the sewer drains. So just again, another incentive for us to put really a small manufacturing facility in there versus anything else.
The big part, the last one I believe would be the parking spaces out front. With the labor shortages and the way things are set up nowadays, we are going to be relying a fair bit on Uber and on delivery services as well from the pub. West Virginia ABCA is allowing us to do these things now, and this is going to be a big part of our business going forward. Just to kind of reiterate something here, this is $1 million investment for us, guys. We're looking to create something that's going to be there long after we're gone, after we're done with the business and we retire. So we're hoping to make a long-term investment and impact into downtown Clarksburg to help kickstart the rejuvenation of the town. And also help us along the way. We're really hoping to utilize this facility to hopefully be an educational hub where we can start training people for the industry. Because right now, of course, breweries are growing. There's a lot of breweries around, but we do not have a labor force that we can draw from. It's pretty tough for us to find people. So to have an in-state classroom for brewing would be ideal. And of course, we have a little bit of experience with that, so we're really hoping to be able to do that.
Pierpont College already had voiced that they would be interested in having a space like that they could send students to, whether they're in the culinary trade or brewing technology or anything similar, and they could come in and get some hands-on experience without them having to put a facility in at the school.
So I hope you guys really take some of these things to heart and take them under advisement. Please get us a vote and get this information to us as soon as possible. We have not signed the lease yet. We are slated to be in Clarksburg next week to meet with the landlord. And hopefully we can get some answers and get this taken care of so we can be about the business of putting a brewery in Clarksburg. I guess at this point I'm going to say I thank you for your time. And one last thing, go ahead.
Okay, so one thing that was brought to our attention is the water line replacement project. And so we were trying to get some information on that, what the timeline is to start that work, and if there's going to be any potential interruption in service to that downtown area, specifically that building. Ashley Carr was able to at least give us some sort of an idea on a timeline of starting potentially in the fall of 2024 or early 2025. But if anybody could provide information as to what the scope of work is and how it might affect water service to that building, that would be great.
Yeah, so ideally what we're going to be doing is we'll be using a RO system to basically break down the water down to its base element, H2O, taking out any contaminants and chemicals and what have you. So we'll be able to rebuild that water profile with minerals to match whatever water profile around the world for that style of beer. So actually utilizing the water really would not be a big deal to us, but interruption will definitely be a big deal to us, especially after we've invested a lot of money and time and gotten things up and running, and then we've got orders from distributors and businesses open and running, and if we have, a week's downtime, probably wouldn't be so bad, but a month's downtime may be a big problem. So we'd like to try to get some clarification from you guys on that.
We thank you for coming and talking with us. The water board would be able best to answer those types of questions about the water for you, and they're readily available to do that. If you would like to have further discussion, this would probably have been best at a work session type thing, where this is a regular council meeting and we really don't have interaction at this time. So if you want to schedule something with our city manager to come in and go in more depth, we could definitely have a better discussion at a work session. But we understand what you're asking, and we'll have our city manager look into it with the code and so forth of where we're at and what we can do. Okay.
Okay, other than that, I guess I would turn it back over to y'all. Just obviously, if we can get this information, the sooner the better, so that we can get moving forward. The month's already started, and we've got to get going on it. So if we have any chance of being open by this summer, we need to get going on it now.
Okay, thank you now. We appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Chris Lane?
So I wanted to, real quick right there, I've been working with Carl and Denise for a couple of years now, trying to find a space, and several months on this facility. Would like to, give appreciation to Steve and Ashley Carr and, a few other folks here at the city. They've been pretty responsive here in the last couple of weeks and getting some information back. Believe the current hurdle we feel we got to overcome is, we've gathered about as much information as we can from a manager, from code, and it's our understanding that work session does need to take place. Possibly some reports need to take place, and then it could go up for a council vote. The urgency that we have on our end is with the state alcohol license. That's a 4 to 6 months process once you apply for the license till it's received. Without having a lease in place on the facility, the license cannot be obtained if we can't represent where the activities and where the business is going to be taking place at. The lease that we tentatively have in place, that both of us are, both the landlord and the business is tentatively agreed to, is a 10-year lease. So it's a little difficult to tee up and commit to a 10-year lease without knowing if the incentives that's being requested, that's fundamental and key to the financial success of the business, can be put in place. Ultimately, we know it's not a guaranteed yes. There's been no promises made, but we do need to know whether it is possible, can be done, or if it's not possible. If it's not possible and we can't work things out in another area, that could hinder the business from moving forward. If it is possible and we can get it, hopefully by next council meeting here in 2 weeks, to be voted on, and that it's agreed and can move forward with the incentives, then immediately thereafter we'll be able to execute the lease, start the process, and the facility could be operating and running this summer. Delaying it, dragging the toes, miss the summer season, and that's the peak season for a brewery. As Carl mentioned, this is it's $1 million investment for him. Not having the opportunity to open in peak season was also detrimental to the business. Now the existing building over there is used as an office building, formerly government use, but it is set up, constructed for an office. What they're going to be doing will be changing the use of it to make it a retail space, to make it a bar pub space. And with that in mind, on the city's website, the B&O for that is 0.4%, less than 0.5% for retail space. There's nothing on the city website that designates a B&O for office space. So I don't know if there is B&O for offices or not. So we'd be taking an existing facility that set up for offices doesn't generate any B&O tax to something that would generate B&O tax, but that's coming directly out of the bottom line of the operations. Ultimately, making it a retail space would make it subject to the 1% sales tax that the city would be receiving, which, is far greater than the less than 0.5%. It's a little over double than what you'd receive off of B&O. And it's 1% more than what you'd receive off any type of office activities because there wouldn't be any sales tax generated off office activities. So I think this would be a way to start generating income off a facility that otherwise is sitting there idle. That's purpose is not going to generate a whole lot of revenue for the city. I think this gives the city a big opportunity. Plus, they'll be creating around 10 jobs, looking to form partnership with Pierpont. This could be an educational hub. This could be a true destination for people to come to downtown Clarksburg. It's a great opportunity. Appreciate the folks here in the city building that's been communicating last couple of weeks. But time is of the essence, and it would be great if a work session could take place and if an agenda item could be created by next council meeting for a formal vote, even if that vote is no. Being able to know which way it's going and not kicking the can down the road would be beneficial and appreciated.
Thanks, Chris.
Thank you.
City managers report and update.
From the manager's office. The budget for the fiscal year 2023-2024 is almost complete, with a few minor modifications once we get the figures from the county. Thank you to the finance department for a great job putting together this year's budget. Economic development is working to finalize the congressional directed spending requests due by the March 10th deadline. From the police department, in February, the Harris County Drug Task Force, the MHIT and K-9 units seized 40 ounces of fentanyl, 46 ounces of methamphetamine, and over $170,000 in cash and 7 firearms. To put this in perspective, this is enough fentanyl to cause over 560,000 overdoses. I, Chief Kitty, would like to thank those units for their superior work and dedication. During the month of February, the police department responded to 1,660 calls for service. From the city parks, Splash Zone, an online meeting will be held on March the 7th to discuss water slide improvements. Our recreational staff coordinator has taken the lifeguard instructor course and is now certified to train our staff. And at the AMP, 96 LED step lights have been replaced. In the wastewater treatment plant, the DEP was at the plant on Thursday, February 23rd for their annual lab audit. The inspection went well, and they are awaiting the final report. From the fire department responded to 197 calls for service and 1 working structure fire. The fire damage was confined to a room and contents with little structural damage. The fire department assisted with 2 Narcan distributions held at Central Fire Station. Roberts Grand Performing Arts. This month, we will begin the process of switching phone lines and internet providers. This will cut these costs in half. On March 22nd and March 23rd, we will have searchlights repaired. They are currently working at a 50% capacity. 70 events are scheduled for March, which include the West Virginia Southern Baptist Youth Conference, Extreme Talent Showcase Dance Competition, Godfather Weekend with Gianni Russo, Andy Gross Mind Boggling Act, just to name a few. From Code Enforcement issued 23 building permits for a total job cost of $706,622. 17 notice of violations, 6 citations, 3 condemnation orders, 4 reboards, 56 inspections, 36 animal control complaints, and 9 C-Click Fix inspections. The Brew Pub zoning letter and more plans are later to come. From the Finance Department, B&O tax revenues were $686,411, police citations $6,100, building permits $23,469, board ups $400, removal grass and garbage $200, vacant property registrations $1,600, fire service fees $171,945. Payment agreements, $855, and demo payments of $21,274. New business license issued were 7, license renewals were 2. From Public Works, 1735 Junkins Avenue was demoed, Bridge Street sinkhole repaired, Gold Avenue sewer line replacement. They trimmed the trees at the Life Science Center, Quarry, and Jackson Square, and preparations are in order for the spring cleanup stated on March 13th. And one safety item before I conclude my report is there was a water line break, and the Clarksburg Water Board would like to remind all affected areas in the Liberty Edition area, but not limited to Limestone Junction, that you have a boil water in effect for the next 24 to 48 hours. This concludes my report.
No unfinished business, new business. Consideration of first reading of an ordinance authorizing design and other pre-construction activities relating to the acquisition and construction of additions, betterments, and improvements to the existing public waterworks system of the city of Clarksburg, and the financing of the cost not otherwise provided thereof through the issuance by the city of not more than $1 million in aggregate principal amount of waterworks system design revenue bonds, Series 2023B, West Virginia DWTRF program. Not more than $1 million in aggregate principal amount of waterworks system design revenue bonds, Series 2023C, West Virginia DWTRF program forgivable, providing for the rights and remedies of and security for the registered owners of such bonds, authorizing execution and delivery of all documents relating to the issuance of such bonds, approving, ratifying, and confirming loan agreement relating to such bonds, authorizing the sale and providing for the terms and provisions of such bonds, and adopting other provisions relating thereto.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Ayes have it.
Consideration of first reading of an ordinance authorizing design and other pre-construction activities relating to the acquisition and construction of additions, betterments, and improvements to the existing public waterworks system of the city of Clarksburg, and the financing of the cost not otherwise provided thereof through the issuance by the city of not more than $2 million in aggregate principal amount of waterworks system design revenue bonds, Series 2023A, West Virginia DWTRF program, providing for the rights and remedies of and security for the registered owners of such bonds, authorizing execution and delivery of all documents relating to the issuance of such bonds, approving, ratifying, and confirming a loan agreement relating to such bonds, authorizing the sale and providing for the terms and provisions of such bonds, and adopting other provisions relating thereto.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Ayes have it.
Consideration of first reading of an ordinance of the city of Clarksburg fixing compensation for poll clerks and election commissioners for the general election to be held in the city of Clarksburg on Tuesday, June 6, 2023.
So moved.
Second.
Been moved in second. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Ayes have it.
Council comments?
We'll start down here with Mr. Mouthjo, Councilman.
Thank you. See something, say something, folks. Pick up the phone, dial 911. Don't forget, tomorrow night is First Friday, and there's an art exhibit going on, plus a bunch of other stuff. So try to make it downtown, please. I have a question for Kim in the finance department, please. Have we collected B&O taxes for the following: the VA parking garage, the new lights on 50, the FBI subcontractor, the Northview exit, and the county building? Can you check on that, please? And I want to say congratulations to the police department and all the agencies for the bust on this past week on Charlotte Avenue. Took a lot of drugs off the street, and, you know, hats off to you guys and all the other agencies involved. Have a nice weekend, everybody.
Okay, Councilman Worth.
Yeah, I first want to thank, the NHIT task force. That's quite a substantial bust. That I think it really sends a message to drug dealers coming in our area that, we're not fooling around. So that's pretty significant. So really a lot of kudos to the police department and the MHIT and the task force. The other thing is too, that was a pretty exciting presentation. Don't really know all the details of it because we just got hit with it all at once, but it was very exciting to see, folks that are in business, that have a very successful business, elsewhere, whether it's, here or Berkeley Springs and Morgan County. But it's really exciting to see that, there are people that want to invest $1 million in our downtown. And I believe we should really, start the process, jump to it and start the process in our work session, bring all hands on deck when it comes to staff to answer whatever questions that we have and see if it's something that's possible. Even if it isn't possible, I mean, me, myself, I would still like to know, what is possible, what needs to happen, and then kind of work through that. So I think that's very exciting. Because, this downtown needs something that's, that would really provide a lot of revitalization. And breweries and brew pubs seem to be the thing, these days to do that. So that's pretty exciting stuff. And other than that, happy First Friday and have a good weekend.
Thank you. Councilman Keith?
Well, I'm not going to be repetitive and repeat everything he just said, so.
Sounds good. Councilman Hyman?
Yeah, that was an amazing presentation. I'm familiar with Berkeley Springs Brewing. They make excellent product. One of my favorite founding fathers said, "Beer is proof that God loves us and wants us to be happy." So, whatever we need to do to get those people in here, let's make it work. So I can hang out there. Congratulations to the police department. Big bust on Charlotte Avenue and over in Suwan Terrace, and there was another one over in Northview that happened a week ago or so. And just got to keep going after that fentanyl and get it off the streets. So glad we can move on these the water bonds. Took us a little bit of pulling teeth to get here, but we got it and take care of that. And First Friday tomorrow should be a fun time. I think we're going to be here though, interviewing city managers. Hopefully we can wrap that process up and move forward next week. And other than that, have a great weekend. I know I will.
Thank you, Councilman.
Thanks.
Vice Mayor?
So the brew pub is a great and exciting prospect. I hope that we can work well together with them. I think that it's important to note, though, that it's kind of hard to determine how you move forward with something like that without more information from them. So it wouldn't necessarily be something that we're trying to kick the can down the road. We would need to see a business plan from them and see some investment before we could really do anything as a city, I think. But that's what the work session would be for. So that's exciting. Something I've really wanted in downtown is just a shot in the arm would be great. So I wish they were still there so we could, welcome them to come in. But this council definitely wants to work with whomever wants to come in and put something like that in. So, but we definitely need more information. I mean, it's not something we can just jump right into. First Fridays, exciting. That's wonderful. And the drug bust, it seems like there was sort of a lull in time where we weren't really hearing a lot about things like that occurring, which is kind of good news. But seeing something to that magnitude occur just kind of opened your eyes so that they're still out there and they're still moving in this area. So having the task force move like they did and the police department, Clarksburg, move like they did, they're still working to get those people off the streets, and that's a breath of fresh air. So thank you to them. That's it.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. That's exciting. The brew pub coming here, making downtown. That's across from the park that Mr. Gentilozzi's working on. I think that would go hand in hand with the across the street. So that'd be exciting. But definitely we have to communicate and work. And I'm all for getting a work session, and I'll do it as soon as possible. If I could get the information of what to put on the agenda, I will definitely do that. I'm happy tonight. The bonds, I was never against the water board being successful and moving forward with the project. I stated what I was against, the charter, what the citizens passed. That was the only obstacle I had. I had no problem with the water board, and this board, the money passes through, the bonds got to go through this council, and we would never try and hold that up for any reason. Just the charter change was a little bit near and dear to my heart, but we're past that. We're moving forward, and we're going to just keep moving forward. I want to thank the city manager, interim city manager, and the finance director with this. Past 2 years, we were a couple $1 million in debt every time we did the budget. This year, it looks like we're going to not be in debt, so that's a good thing for this city to move forward. And it's going to be a tight budget. There's no question, but I'd rather have a tight budget than a $2 million in debt budget. So we have come a long way in a couple of years, and the good work with the finance and both interim city managers. Mark Kitty did a great job on it, and now Steve is doing a fantastic job, and I'm excited to pass a good balanced budget, and that's what we're going to do here this month. We'll have that. We have to have it to the state statutorily, so we'll have that done and to the state, and we'll be off for another year. As Will mentioned, we've been on a city manager search, and it's been, I think, going well. We're hopefully wrapping it up the end of this week, tomorrow, and next week we get together and make a move, and it's exciting, and I'm keeping my fingers crossed that we put somebody good, qualified, and able to do the job and able to move this city forward. Again, the interims have done a great job, and I don't want to take away from them, but I'm looking forward to having a permanent city manager, a professional city manager in there that can help us move forward. And that's about all I have to say. I thank you guys for coming out, everyone, and we'll see you in the next one.
Call for adjournment.
Second.
Moved and second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed, we're adjourned.
You guys have any idea when you want to do this?
Probably. Yeah.